Imagine standing in a trench so deep that daylight barely reaches the bottom, the air thick with the smell of wet earth and cordite. Above you, the world is being torn apart by artillery that sounds like the sky itself is cracking open. But beneath your boots lies something remarkable. A hidden city carved from chalk and clay, where thousands of men live like moles, waiting for the next whistle that will send them over the top. This is the forgotten world of the Western Front's underground networks, where survival wasn't just about fighting, it was about becoming architects of the earth itself. These soldiers transformed the battlefield into a realm where the deepest safety lay in going down, not back, creating subterranean fortresses that would house entire battalions beneath the killing fields. When the first trenches were dug in autumn 1914, they were nothing more than muddy scratches in Belgian farmland, but as the war calcified into stalemate, soldiers transformed these temporary shelters into subterranean fortresses that defied imagination. The Germans, masters of defensive engineering, sank their dugouts 30 meters down, carving staircases into solid chalk that spiraled into the earth like reversed towers. These weren't crude holes. They were living spaces with electric lights powered by generators, ventilation shafts that whispered fresh air into the depths, and bunks where men slept in relative safety while shells obliterated the surface above. Some dugouts featured 3 levels, each progressively safer, with the deepest chambers reinforced by concrete pillars that could withstand direct hits from the heaviest howitzers. On the Italian front, Austro-Hungarian troops took this concept to its frozen extreme, tunneling 12 kilometers into the Marmolada Glacier. Inside this city of ice, they built chapels where men prayed before battle, storerooms stacked with ammunition and tinned meat, and barracks where body heat alone could keep you alive at altitude. The glacier preserved everything, their tools, their letters home, even their frozen corpses when avalanches sealed tunnels forever. Survival underground meant perfecting the art of invisibility above. Professional camoufleurs, artists conscripted from Parisian studios and London galleries, transformed the battlefield into a theatre of deception. They constructed fake trees from steel and bark, hollow inside, to house observers who could watch enemy movements through peepholes disguised as knots. Trench entrances disappeared beneath carefully arranged debris, and communication trenches were roofed with chicken wire and painted canvas that looked like shattered ground from aerial reconnaissance. The soldiers themselves became part of this illusion, smearing their faces with mud not just for cover, but as war paint that broke up the human outline against the cratered earth. Even the trenches themselves were designed to deceive, dug in zigzag patterns that prevented a single grenade from devastating an entire platoon and made it impossible for attackers to fire down straight corridors of earth. Underground life demanded a constant battle against the earth itself. In Flanders, where the water table sat just meters below the surface, trenches became canals of liquid mud that could honestly swallow a man whole. Soldiers laid duckboards, wooden slats that created walkways above the muck, but even these became treacherous when coated in slime and churned by endless traffic. Water was both enemy and necessity. Rain collected in shell holes often became drinking water filtered through charcoal and cloth, tasting of iron and, well, death. Food arrived in the trenches cold, if it arrived at all, and men learned to heat tins of bully beef over makeshift stoves fashioned from empty ammunition boxes and twisted wire. They boiled water in old petrol cans, the lingering fumes adding yet another layer of bitterness to their tea. Rats grew fat on corpses and rations alike, and soldiers developed an uneasy coexistence with vermin that frankly outnumbered them in the darkness. These soldiers didn't just dig trenches, they became miners, architects and engineers of survival. Their techniques, born from desperation and ingenuity, remind us that true preparedness isn't about having the best gear, but about adapting, building and enduring when the world above becomes uninhabitable. If you value the lost arts of Fieldcraft and the lessons history has carved into the earth, subscribe to Fieldcraft Chronicles and share this with others who understand that survival is both ancient craft and eternal teacher.